Hello and welcome to the HoverCam Centerstage 3rd generation training video. My name is Lloyd Wafer, I'm the education consultant here at HoverCam, and I'll be guiding you through the features and functions of your newest Centerstage model. So first off, right out of the gate, I'd like to say we made some exciting new improvements both to the responsiveness of the AR of the screen as well as the functionality and the user experience. So there are a couple notes, points to make of the distinction right at the top. But just like all of our Centerstage line, we are still going to recommend that for downloading and acquiring new applications on your Android device, that rather than using the Google Play Store, you use the Aptoide app, which is featured on our home screen here. Now, for various reasons, Aptoide is going to be the easier option for finding and downloading new apps when you wish to install them on your Centerstage. It will come pre-installed, Aptoide will come pre-installed, but if for whatever reason it's removed, you can always find it by searching in the browser and doing a browser search for Aptoide and downloading it directly from the web. Now, on that note, we are going to recommend most users right out of the gate are going to need 3 main apps on their Centerstage that we recommend. So in addition to finding and downloading Aptoide, which hopefully will already be on your screen when you're using it on any given session, we're also going to recommend that you download Adobe Acrobat so that you can access any PDF files that you might find on the web or pull off of external flash drives, so to read those PDF files. And then we strongly recommend also searching through Aptoide to download the PowerPoint and Word Reader and Excel if you're an Excel user. Any Microsoft Office programs that you will frequently be using in your instruction, you want to go ahead and download the reader for those on Aptoide. One of the things we want to point out about our newest Centerstage model, the Generation 3 model, is that now to navigate through your menus, we're going to use this side swipe menu. So you can see the side swipe menu can be accessed by swiping inward either from the right side of the screen or from the left. And to collapse that side swipe menu, simply swipe back out towards the bezel or perimeter to move that side swipe menu off screen. Now, since we have this side swipe menu as the main way for navigating through your Centerstage, there's also a new navigational button, the front here, for turning your gesture controls on and off. But selected, it will give you an indicator on screen indicating whether or not your gesture controls are on or off. And when your gesture controls are on, that will allow you to pull out that side swipe menu. Switching the gesture controls off will turn off the ability to pull out that side swipe menu. Now, this is a very useful tool for when you're navigating inside other applications or websites. If that app or site has any content on the side of the screen that you would like to interact with, you might accidentally pull out the side swipe menu if the gesture controls are on. So you'll simply select to turn those gestures off, navigate through that app or website, and when you're ready to access the side swipe menu, simply turn those gesture controls back on, and you can pull out that home swipe menu, the side swipe menu, at any time, allowing you to access your sources, scroll back through previous pages, reach the home page, access tools, and freeze the screen. So one of the first things you're going to notice right out of the gate is that this is our fastest IR screen. So you'll notice that the responsive time and the smoothness of your gestures are going to be at a new level of functionality and improvement. What you're looking at right here is our home screen, and it brings me to our first major distinction in terms of using your Centerstage with this new generation of models, which is that unlike previous models with the swipe up menu, we now have side swipe menus. Let's take a look at the features of the side swipe menu itself, starting from the top and working our way down so you understand how to use each of these icon tools. So at the top of your side swipe, a useful icon indicating that source selection can be accessed directly through your side swipe menu. Additionally, your source input can be accessed at your home menu screen, but this is another route to get to your source selection. From here you can select whichever external source the Centerstage is communicating with. So once you've plugged in your external devices or VGA cables or external screens, just tap on the corresponding source selection icon. Underneath the source selector icon is your page back icon, which is indicated with an arrow pointing left. This will allow you to navigate back through pages while you're interacting with other applications or on websites. Simply tap the back icon to navigate back to your previous page. Next, we'll take a look at the home button icon. At any point, including when you're navigating inside an application or onto a website, if you tap this home icon, it will bring you back to your default home screen that you see here before you. This is useful if you're ready to switch to a different application or pull up external files, which will be covered later on. Alright, next we'll take a look at your tools icon, which is located underneath your home screen. And you'll notice that when you tap that, it opens up a series of sub options and tools that can be accessed. First up, going from right to left, you'll notice one of the newest features of the Generation 3 Centerstage, which is the ability to annotate on top of other programs and applications, websites, and even live video. So tapping this annotation tool will launch the annotation toolbar at the bottom of the screen, and you can then begin annotating on top of any surface or application. Now, we're going to take a look at the tool sets within the annotation tool here so you understand how to navigate through it. It will default to whatever pen setting was your most recent pen. You can tap the farthest icon to the left, which is the pen and paper icon, and you can select and change your color on the fly to a different annotation color. Inside that tool brush menu, you can also select how big you would like the strokes to be, the thickness of them, and you can also adjust your eraser size. Now, you'll notice that there is no eraser icon because an additional new feature of the Generation 3 model is that we've added gesture erase. So rather than selecting an eraser icon, you can simply make a palm blade with the palm of your hand and swipe over those annotations to erase them. So, in order to adjust the size of that eraser, you tap your paintbrush icon and you can select to either make that eraser size smaller or larger depending upon the user's hand size, depending upon how fine you want the precision of your erasing to be. So the gesture eraser control is a new feature of this generation model, and with practice you'll habitually realize how fluidly and smoothly you can move between marking annotations and immediately erasing them all on the fly. Next up, to the right of the paintbrush tool icon are your redo and undo buttons. So as you're navigating through annotations, you can cycle back through and undo that most recent annotation or redo them, allowing you to adjust your annotations really quickly on the fly. Right next to the redo and undo buttons is your clear screen icon. So if I have a bunch of my annotations on the screen here, it's indicated by a piece of paper sweeping away the annotations. You can tap that. It will give you a message letting you know that when you clear those annotations, they will not be able to be restored. So unlike a typical deletion where you can hit the undo button and undo that deletion, clearing the whole screen is irrevocable as indicated on the screen here. So when you confirm that, annotation will be your screen will be completely cleared of annotations and you're free to begin annotating once more. So I'll clear that out. In the center of the control bar is the option to minimize that control bar by tapping the center and reducing or minimizing it down to the bottom portion of your screen. You can see indicated at the center there is a gray arrow for you to tap and pull up that toolbar once again. To the right of that icon is your save icon. When tapped, it will allow you to save annotations in a screen cap, and it will ask you where you would like those files to be saved. You can choose to either save your pictures locally to the hard drive itself, or you can choose to have them saved to an external USB drive by connecting a USB flash drive and selecting that option. We'll go into more detail of connecting external flash drives and external devices later on. Once you've selected where you would like your picture to be saved, tap OK, and the screenshot will be saved in that desired location. You will also receive an indication at the bottom confirming that save. Next to the save icon is the option to insert pictures into your annotation field of view. So when tapped, the import picture icon will give you the option to navigate where you would like those pictures to be pulled from, so you can look through your previous documents and select pictures or images that you would like to insert onto this annotation session. I'll pick a random one here. It will place that picture or screen cap, in this case, on the screen, and then you can use pinch to zoom controls, 2 points of contact, to adjust the size of that image or rotate that image. You can also choose by selecting the X out arrow to the left to delete the annotation image altogether. Once you've decided where you would like to place this inserted image, simply select the checked icon at the top there and it will paste that annotation there. Now once the annotation image is pasted, it cannot then be resized or adjusted. If you would like to make adjustments to it, simply erase that annotation and reinsert it with your gesture controls. To the right of the picture insert icon is your cropping tool. So when selected, it will allow you to adjust by selecting a point of contact along the perimeter of the cropping field and sliding and making adjustments to adjust it to the desired size. You can X out of the cropping tool by selecting the X icon. And lastly, we come to the shortcut icon to your whiteboarding tool. So while you're doing your annotation overlay, if you would wish to actually pull up a full whiteboarding app, there's a quick route to the full whiteboarding app, and the tools of the full whiteboarding app will be covered in detail in a later section. At any point while I'm navigating again, I can tap my home screen to return to my home screen, and I can continue to annotate beyond there. If I'm using my annotation tool and I have not selected to enter the whiteboarding app, and I'm still annotating inside of an application or on top of a website, when I'm ready to exit this annotation tool and interact with my web browser or pull up a different application, I simply need to select the back door icon to the bottom left side of the screen to exit this tool. Now I will ask you, would you like to save your annotations before exiting? You have the option to save or not save, or keep that program running in the background. We'll choose not to save this time. Now I'm free to interact with the rest of my panel's icons or features of whatever website I may be navigating through. Next up on our tool swipe bar, next to our annotation tool, you'll see a shortcut to your settings configurations indicated by a gear icon. When tapped, it will access all of the settings menus system-wide. This is useful for checking, for example, your current storage. You can navigate through storage settings using touch controls, swiping up and down to scroll through menu icon settings. You can also check your network configurations, adjust sound, scroll through your apps library, and much more, many more adjustments that can be made to your settings. So the quick access to the settings, to all settings configurations, is going to be your side swipe menu and the settings icon. The next item in our side swipe tour is going to be located next to the settings icon. It's indicated by a file icon. This is your file folder. When tapped, this will access the main ES file reader, which is the main application that we use to access all of our files that are saved on this, either on the Centerstage directly or to your Centerstage's flash drive. So as you can see, it's giving me the options to navigate through current images that I have currently saved, video files that I have saved, anything that's stored internally right now. Later on, we'll cover how to pull these files from external sources as well, remembering that the side swipe toolbar and file icon is a quick shortcut to get to any files that you're trying to access on your Centerstage. Next up, we'll cover the side swipe menu's snapshot feature. By selecting the tool icon and selecting the icon of the camera, I can take a quick snapshot of any screen that I'm currently displaying on my Centerstage. That snapshot will automatically be saved, and you'll get a confirmation message telling you that that snapshot is saved in its designated file folder. Again, all files, including snapshots that are saved, can be accessed through your ES file reader icon. The last icon that we need to cover on our side swipe menu is our freeze icon. It's indicated by the ice crystal at the bottom of the menu. When tapped, it will turn blue, indicating that the freeze mode is currently activated, and when untapped, it will be white, indicating that the freeze mode is turned off. Freeze mode will allow you to freeze whatever image is currently displayed on the Centerstage panel, which is useful when you're connecting external devices such as a laptop or a personal tablet. And it will allow you to freeze whatever image is currently being displayed. Then you can navigate on that external device, queuing up the next piece of content. And when you're ready for your audience to see that new content, you can unfreeze the screen. So we'll cover the freezing and unfreezing in more detail and demonstrate that functionality in the section titled Connecting External Devices. Again, to navigate out of your home or side swipe menu, simply swipe off screen to remove that side swipe menu. Let's take a look at how to navigate our home screen. Again, the home screen can be accessed at any time by pulling the side swipe menu and tapping the home icon. When you're on your home screen, you're going to see browser, whiteboard, all apps, file manager, and source icons at the bottom of the screen. We'll cover these together from right to left. Okay, first up, we'll take a look at the source selection icon. Simply tap that source selection icon to scan for any devices that are connected via HDMI cable or other connective ports. Simply select whichever corresponding port you have your external device connected to. The next icon on our home screen that we're going to cover is your file manager icon, located just to the left of the source icon. This is going to be the main route that you use to pull up content, be that videos or images or documents that you have saved either on your Centerstage itself or on external memory drives. So when tapped, you'll see this is the file manager home screen. It's going to be able to display files on the right side here and will allow you to navigate through different locations on the left. You can select where on the left there you would like to begin searching for files and content that you have saved and stored. Okay, when you're ready to pull external files from a flash drive, you can connect via the media USB port that's located in the bottom left side of your screen. It's very important that you use the media USB port. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this flash drive into my media USB port. We'll automatically register that, and then you're going to see a pop-up indicator here asking if you want to open in your media player. Go ahead and select cancel to that. We want to make sure that we're using and navigating through files through our file manager. Now, once I've selected my flash drive, if I go ahead and enter into my flash drive, the SDA1 flash drive, from here I can select a file and it will ask me what I would like to set up as my default app for opening that application. Now, if you have multiple ways to open that app, you're going to need to make a choice. But you can select that checkbox at the bottom there, set as default app, and once selected, you won't have to go through this confirmation every time. It'll just be that first time. Since this is a Word file, I'm going to go ahead and set Word as my default to open this. Okay, then the Centerstage will pull up that Word document for us. Now, I already had Microsoft Word downloaded previously on the Centerstage using Aptoid, which will be covered in a later section. But we're going to recommend that you do download the following apps just to get you up and running. These are probably the most commonly used apps. So by default, your Centerstage will come with Aptoid downloaded on it. But if you ever delete this file for whatever reason, we recommend that you reinstall Aptoid as the main app for finding and navigating and downloading new apps on your Centerstage. We're also going to recommend Adobe Acrobat so that you can pull up PDF files, PowerPoint so that you can run PowerPoint presentations and PowerPoint files, as well as Word as I mentioned before. Okay, next up on our home screen is our All Apps icon. This is going to be the icon that you select to navigate through different apps. When selected, it will take you to all of the applications that are currently on the Centerstage, and you can scroll left to right to browse through. I don't have any extra apps downloaded on the Centerstage, so just a couple extra ones and then all of the default ones. As you begin to download more and more applications, you'll have additional pages that you can scroll through here. Now, I have all of these in my All Apps, but if I want to have quick access to them, if I want them to be on my home screen, such as Word, an app that I might use often, simply press a long hold onto that icon, and then drag it onto your home screen, and it will now appear on your home screen every time you go to your home screen. All your applications that are on your home screen can be held with a long hold and moved to a different location on your home screen. You can also remove these apps from the home screen by dragging them up to the top over the word remove and releasing them over that remove icon. Now you still will have that app downloaded, I can still access it, it just won't appear on my home screen anymore. So I'm going to put that back onto my home screen. Now if you are, for whatever reason, you do need to navigate and delete an app or uninstall an app that you might have, you can also do a long hold, and instead of dragging it into your home screen, you can drag it up to the uninstall trash can icon and release it over that icon. You can also drag the app over to the app info icon to look at the information for that application. So again, uninstalling apps, simply select that app in your all apps screen, select a long hold onto that application, and drag it up into the uninstall window. I have Microsoft Word now twice on my home screen. So to remove, again, the application, I'll press a long hold on it and drag it up to the remove so I can keep my home screen nice, tidy, and organized. Okay, next we're going to cover the whiteboarding app, which is located on our home screen. So when I navigate to my home screen at any point, I can select the whiteboarding app. It will give me a nice little welcome, and it will give me access to the toolbar here for annotations. Now, as mentioned in this previous section, it will automatically start with a default pen. I can get straight to annotating and marking, up to 10 points of contact with that ultra fast, ultra responsive touch, this new Generation 3 model. Now, when I'm ready to select different colors, simply select the paintbrush setting icon, which is that piece of paper with the pencil on it, and I can select different colors, and I can also use my stroke size slider to thicken the thickness of my annotations. I can also change my eraser size. You'll notice there is no eraser tool on my toolbar. That is because we now have gesture controls. So make sure you're using a blade palm, flat palm, and you can simply swipe with that blade palm and erase specific parts of your annotation screen. If you're noticing that that eraser icon is too big or too small, you can adjust the size there under paintbrush settings. To the left of the paintbrush settings is a symbol that looks kind of like a paint bucket tipping over. This is to select and change your background. So I can select a different color for my background on my canvas. I can also select an image by selecting this image icon, and I can insert different options such as a play field for coaching purposes, or a music notation page for music, different backdrops, or I can at any point simply select to have a nice white blank canvas once again. So the background setting is a useful tool. Go ahead and erase what I have on here. Now you'll also notice that you have undo and redo buttons as well. So at any point you can quickly tap to undo your most recent annotation or tap to redo that annotation, allowing you to switch and change and make adjustments to your annotations quickly and on the fly. The center of our toolbar here is a minimize button. When tapped, it will give me more real estate, more space on my canvas here. And I can tap that up arrow to restore that menu once again. I have a clear all icon right next to that that's indicated by a piece of paper with a broom sweeping. When I tap that, it will give me a warning to remind me that this will clear completely and I will not be able to undo this deletion. So it will say irrevocable after cleaning, meaning we cannot redo this once you've made the decision. So it will ask you, are you sure? And just go ahead and confirm when you're sure that you want to actually delete that annotation. And as stated, I'm not able to undo that annotation there. It's deleted. I have a clean blank surface to annotate on. So that's the clear all tool. Once you're out annotating and you have content that you'd like to save, at any point you can tap the save icon. and it will ask you where you would like to save that snapshot of your current annotation and current work. You can save them locally, or you can save them to a USB external flash drive. You can choose to save the current page that is currently being displayed, or all of the pages that you have up and running at that moment. Once you've made your selection, simply select OK, and that screen will be automatically saved at the desired location. You can access all those files in your File Manager tool. Next to the Save icon, we have the Picture Insert option. When you select that, it will ask you where you would like to import your pictures from. So you can browse through your Centerstage's internal memory or external drives if you have external memory selected or connected to your Centerstage at any point. So I'm just going to browse here and try to find, we don't have many pictures here that are interesting, but I'll just take an image from a previous snapshot. And once that's positioned there, it will allow me to adjust and make adjustments to that image before I paste it. So I can use 2 points of contact to either pinch to zoom out or zoom in, and I can also rotate that using those 2 pinch to zoom controls. Once I've positioned that image the way I would like it, I can move it over as well. I can either delete it altogether, or when I'm ready to paste it, select that check icon in the top right corner, and it will paste that image there for you. Now once that image is pasted, it cannot now be resized and adjusted. So if you'd like to make changes to it, simply erase that image and then reselect it and resize it and insert it the way you desire. So that's our Inserting Images tool. We also have a cropping tool, which will allow you to make contact along the perimeter of the rectangle and adjust the size of that cropping window. And you can exit out of that by selecting the X icon on that screen there. And your whiteboarding app can actually divide your whiteboard into 3 separate screens so that you can have up to 3 users in their own designated space on the board. That's indicated by this rectangle icon that has the screen divided into 3 sections. When you tap that, it will launch into the triple screen whiteboarding tool. So as you can see at the bottom here, each user will have their own color controls to do their own annotations in their own plane of view, and you can see they cannot cross over into the other user's field. So it's a really good way to divide up your space, and you can set some pretty clear expectations about navigating through this space. Since this is a simplified version of the annotation tool, it shouldn't be too overwhelming for your students to use actively and regularly. It's going to have the access to their pen colors, and it's pretty much where it's going to keep them focused on just navigating annotations and marking with their annotation tools. So if I'm inside this whiteboarding tool and I need to navigate back, again, to reiterate, that side swipe menu is going to be your main tool for navigating as well. I can tap that back icon and it will take me back to my previous page for my side swipe menu. So here I am back at my most recent whiteboarding page. Now, as I'm whiteboarding and marking, if I have good annotations and good thoughts on here, even if I've screen capped them, I still might want to keep this page and be able to reference back to it later on in the same lesson. So to add additional pages in the bottom right corner here, simply tap that plus icon and it will open up a new page. You can, of course, change the background color of that new page if you want to distinguish it even more, and continue to annotate and mark on your new page. Once you have more than one page open, you're going to be able to cycle back and forth between those pages on the fly by tapping either the right or left arrow icon in the bottom right corner. I can cycle back to my previous page of annotations or forward to my newest page of annotations. Now when I'm ready to exit this whiteboarding tool altogether, you'll find the exit icon located the bottom left part of your screen, the door arrow symbol. When tapped, it will ask me, do I want to save my session? I can choose to save or not save, or keep this application running in the background. I'll choose not to save, and it will exit me back to my home screen. And the last icon on our home screen that we'll cover is our browser tool, which is located at the bottom left corner. When tapped, it will open up to your default browsing page Ours here is Google, and this is going to be your normal, typical Android-based website navigating tool set. So all of your tool controls are going to be along the top here. You can easily bookmark pages or visit bookmarks, previous pages that you have bookmarked. And again, the side swipe menu is going to be my main tool for navigating back through web pages. So when I'm ready to return to a page, simply tap that back arrow icon. Tapping the star icon will allow me to edit and label a name for this specific page as I bookmark and archive that page, and I can cycle back at any point. I can select the address bar and delete this out using my home keyboard or an external keyboard, and I can navigate to sites directly, or I can use the default browser option to search a web browser or a search engine for that content. I can refresh my page at any point using the refresh or X icon. So you're going to find that navigating through this browser is very similar to any Android-based tablet or phone web-based navigator. Okay, I'm going to record that one more time. Okay, the last icon that we're going to cover on our home page is our browser. This is for navigating and browsing online. When you select the browser icon, it will pull up the default Android browser application. So this is pretty straightforward. It's very similar to the browser that you have on your actual Android tablet or phone. You can see most of your controls are going to be navigated here on the top, including clicking the star to set up bookmark important pages or remove bookmark pages. The star icon inside the banner will allow you to navigate back through pages that you have previously bookmarked. Tapping the plus icon along the tabs will allow you to open up an additional tab, so you can have multiple tabs going at the same time. And that X icon can close any additional tabs that you have up and running that you don't need out. You of course have your forward and back navigating icons within the browser. And to reiterate, you can always cycle back using the side swipe menu's back icon as well. So a couple different tools for navigating even when you're within the browser. Keep in mind that you can refresh a page or X out of a page at the top left of your browser tool. But for the most part, navigating through this browser is going to be as simple and straightforward as navigating most Android-based phone browsers or tablet browsers. Okay, next we're going to cover how to connect external computers such as laptops or desktop computers to your Centerstage. Again, we do feel that the Centerstage is at its best and you'll get the most out of your Centerstage when you do pair it and connect it to an external computer, desktop, or laptop, giving you full access to the processing power of that computer and being able to extend that on a large scale for your audience. So the connection procedure is going to be simply connecting that external device via an HDMI cable. You'll need to determine which port on your Centerstage you would like to connect through. In the case here, we're going to be connecting through HDMI 1. Once you've made that selection and connected that HDMI cable to the proper port, just simply connect that HDMI connection to your external device. We'll use a laptop here. And once that cable is connected, you'll need to select the proper source that you inserted. As a reminder, you have a couple options for getting to that source navigation. You can tap the source icon on your home screen, or you can also navigate to your side swipe menu and tap the source icon in your side swipe menu, opening up all your source choices. If I select HDMI 1, since we're connected through HDMI 1, it will find that computer and it will automatically start displaying the content from my laptop onto my screen. I can control and navigate my screen using my laptop, my interface, but I'm not going to be able to control and navigate the computer via the Centerstage. I will now be able to access and use that powerful annotation tool. So now that I have my computer displaying a website or program or application, whatever it may be, at any point I can pull out that side swipe menu. I can select my toolbars, and I can select the first icon on my toolbar, the annotation tool. And I'll know I'm in my annotation mode because it will pop up my annotation toolbar at the bottom here. And I can begin annotating over content that's on my external computer, my laptop, my desktop. You can exit out of these annotation tools by tapping that home button. Again, it will ask you if you would like to save or not save those annotations that you've made, and it will return you back to your external device. Again, I can continue to pull up new programs or applications or websites, whatever content I have on my external computer. You are able to have multiple devices connected via multiple HDMI ports at the same time. So remember, you can navigate through those at any point by selecting your source selector and selecting the proper source. And one additional really cool feature of our Generation 3 Centerstage's models, when you are connecting those external devices such as laptops or desktop computers, you're displaying content for your audience, you are able to use the Centerstage's new freeze function by pulling the side swipe menu out and selecting that icicle icon at the bottom there. When it's selected, it will highlight in blue, indicating that my current screen is frozen on this website. On my external device, which is connected here, I can then scroll to different content, queue up my next piece of content while my audience is still interacting and processing the content that's on screen. When I'm ready to return to what my computer is currently displaying, I simply tap the unfreeze button and it will automatically begin to mirror once again my screen's connection. When you have an external device connected to your computer, you can navigate and choose those connection display settings depending upon the device that you're using. So for a Windows machine, I can press the Windows icon and the P for project, and it will allow me to choose whether or not I'm duplicating my screen. Right now I'm duplicating, meaning that whatever my laptop screen is seeing is displayed on my Centerstage. I can also choose to extend my screen, and that will give me an extension of my computer screen so I can navigate and choose and select items on my laptop screen or desktop screen and choose which windows and which programs and applications are running on my extended screen. So if you connect your external device and you notice that it is in fact connected, you're getting an indicator, maybe it's probably going to be your default wallpaper, but you're not noticing you're not able to display that, just check to make sure, check your projector settings, check to make sure that you're not in extended mode, and if you want to be in duplicate mode to mirror the screen, simply select duplicate. Okay, and now we'll take a look at the physical features and the ports on your Centerstage screen. Starting at the bottom right side with the tactile buttons. Start going from left to right, you'll notice you have your power button there for turning off the console, and keep in mind that there is that master power switch at the back where the power connects. Next to that is your settings button. Tapping that will open up your settings configuration. And next to that you'll see volume controls for rising and lowering the volume, as well as cycling through your channels. Last but not least, the most important button here to note on the panel, this is a new feature of these panels, is the gesture control on and off button. Turning this button on and off will turn off whether or not that left or right swipe will open up your swipe tool menu. So if you notice that you're swiping left and right and nothing's happening, tap your gesture response button. That probably is turned off, so you can cycle through it on and off there. On the front left side of the panel, we have some connection ports that are there for easy access convenience. You'll notice that you have a couple 3.5mm connections for connecting external microphones and headphones and speakers. And then you'll also have your USB ports at the front here, as well as a USB touch port. There is also an HDMI in port located in the front panel here. Next up, off to the side back of your panel, you'll notice you have multiple inputs for AV connection, as well as two USB 3 ports and a single USB 2 port. You'll notice you also have multiple USB touch connection ports, and this is where your antenna is also located. Next up, on the back of your panel, on the underside panel, you'll notice that you have 4 HDMI in ports, as well as a single HDMI out port. This is also where you'll find your VGA connection and your RJ45 Ethernet port for LAN connections. Located to the back of your panel, just underneath where the power plugs in, you'll find the master power switch. Switching that on and off will cut off or turn on the flow of power to your Centerstage unit.